Hey, football fans, ready to add some extra excitement to your game day? Dive into Chumba Casino, where the thrill of the game greets you every day and the action never stops. It's completely free to play, no purchase necessary. Whether you're tailgating, cheering from your couch, or on the go, Chumba Casino brings the excitement right to your fingertips. Play anytime, anywhere, with hundreds of casino-style games, including thrilling social casino slots and classic blackjack, and new games released every week. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Plus, take advantage of generous free daily login bonuses and a fantastic free welcome bonus to kickstart your fun. Chumba Casino is your ultimate playbook for nonstop entertainment. Make every day a Chumba day and join the action now and play for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. With Chumba Casino, the fun never ends. What are you waiting for? Dive into the action today with Chumba Casino and make your game day unforgettable. Join us at ChumbaCasino.com today. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. T&Cs apply.
Welcome back to the Awakening Women podcast. I'm your host, Leanne Oaten. And in this episode, we're chatting about a few different things pertaining to when your body is shutting down toward a partner. And I want to read to you a post that I put up on Instagram that really encapsulates this. To maintain your respect, a masculine man will have self-discipline physically, mentally, and emotionally. He will not become a workaholic, indulge in alcohol binges, raging, and violence. If he does, you'll eventually lose respect for him and become sexually unresponsive. I also did a poll on my Instagram the other day. I'm just going to pull this up. I know that a lot of women struggle with this in their relationships. And especially around their sexuality, they're low drive, they don't have any desire, they don't want to have sex with their partner, they don't even want to be touched by their partner. And so they are then made to be the problem in that. There's not only is it a societal thing where it's this idea that it's a well-known thing, oh, women don't like sex and the sex-starved man that has to go out and get it elsewhere. I really don't believe that. I don't believe that women don't like sex. I believe women love good sex and connected sex and being emotionally connected and having their needs met. What I believe happens is that we shut down for various different reasons and our body will shut down. If we are not emotionally safe, we are not emotionally connected, we don't have a good connection with our partner, we are not taking care of ourselves, we're not connected to our own bodies, we don't know what we like, what we don't like. We don't have any boundaries. We're not focused on ourselves. We are empty from within. Then that is going to definitely impact your sex drive. It's going to impact your body and you may shut yourself down. And our body also protects itself unconsciously. And so if you are struggling with this, as most women are, around sexuality within a relationship that is not emotionally safe, it's emotionally unsafe, your partner is not conducting himself in a healthy masculine way where he is leading, protecting, and making sure you're taken care of and that you're safe, and he's not cherishing you, he's not respecting your feelings or giving any thought or consideration to your feelings, but yet he is the one that is creating the chaos because of his lack of maturity and his lack of self-mastery, then you are going to be repelled by him. You're going to eventually be repulsed by him because you've lost respect. So soon as a woman loses respect for a man, even unconsciously, she will lose her sexual desire. It goes hand in hand. Again, and we may not be aware of it when it's happening, why it's happening. But when you are with a man that behaves in respectful ways, then you have respect for them. And in turn, you're attracted to them because you have respect for them by how they're conducting themselves on a day-to-day basis, not just within the relationship, but how they conduct themselves in other areas of life, in their career life, in just everything, how they take care of themselves, how they eat, do they binge drink, do they use porn, do they just spend all their time at work where family is not a priority. These are all things that will dry up your sexual energy. right? And you have to know what those things are and where that respect gets lost. But those are just some places to begin where it starts happening. And I know with women I've worked with, typically they've got multiple things like that going on, where there is no emotional safety. Their spouse is not an emotional safe space. They're not able to hold a container for a woman to have some up and down emotional days. Not that you can go and just act out all of your emotions and project them and take them out on people around you in an unconscious way. No, you have to master your own emotional energy and get support if you're feeling all over the place, or you're feeling reactive, or you're feeling just these highs and lows. You have to manage that within yourself. But in the context of where you might be in a relationship that is unsafe, where there is things like gaslighting, belittling, some mental fuckery going on where you're bringing up legitimate issues and they are being minimized, and you're being told that it's not that big of a deal, or that you're making too much of it, or you've always got a problem, or you're so negative, or you can't let things go. And what about me? You do it to me too. Like, what about that time you did this to me? And you can't even get your needs met in that regard. You're not going to want to get physically naked. For the most part, you're not going to want to. And so then you will start to believe that there's something wrong with you, and so will they. If they are unhealthy and they are toxic, they are going to make sure that you believe that you are the broken one, that they are the victim in this, that none of their needs are getting met. And meanwhile, there's all this other stuff going on that you physically are unable to go there. This doesn't even go into when we're talking about sexually coercive behavior and disrespectful behavior, and even sexual assault behavior in a relationship where your boundaries are being violated. So when I did a poll, I asked the women on my Instagram, just my Instagram alone, what would you most like help with right now? And 47% selected lack of sexual desire for their spouse, and 53% said shifting their relationship using feminine energy. So there were more women that were interested in the shifting of the relationship, which is exactly what we're talking about here, is how do you start to shift this dynamic? You might, if you are in a toxic relationship, typically the sexual aspect of things is a mess as well. It's not the thing, it's the symptom of a greater issue for women. And not only that, but men have different needs sexually than women do. It is much easier for them to get in the mood, they don't need much of anything to actually, get themselves in that zone, whereas we do a lot more. So not only is that just already a truth to begin with us just on our own without being in a relationship, then you add the relationship dynamic into that. And that is what really shows where the relationship is at. That doesn't mean that you don't maybe have your own hang-ups or things that are a problem for you. But when you're with someone that is right for you, you should be able to discuss these things and find solution. And they also should be willing to do the same. And so I have worked with women, a lot of women over the years that really struggle with this in their relationship, and there's a lot of shame around it because they're in sexless marriages. They are in long-term relationships where there is no sex, no intimacy, no affection. Typically, they're in separate rooms. This can go on for years. You deserve so much more than that. And I just want to say that you're probably taking on all the blame. And that's not how it works. This is where it comes in that it does take two to tango around this. And a lot of times I believe that it even matters much more how the man is showing up if the woman is able to put herself in the vulnerable place of wanting to be sexual and intimate. So if you're not able to be emotionally intimate and emotionally vulnerable and emotionally open because you don't feel safe to do that, because you're shut down, stonewalled, gaslit, he turns into the victim, you're the offender, you're the problem, then how do you expect to be able to open yourself up physically? Mind-body connection. So if you are not emotionally safe and you cannot be vulnerable emotionally, you eventually are not going to feel safe being vulnerable physically. And for women, the act of having sex and being naked and intimate is the most vulnerable thing that we can do. And so I want you to just give that some consideration today if this is something that you are struggling with. And if you want help around this, you want support, you want to get out of this pain cycle, and you want to figure out what's mine, what's not, is there anything I can do in this relationship? Is there anything that can be shifted? Is it toxic, or is it just that sex is not the issue, or that sex is the issue? Because a lot of times when the relationship is toxic, you will be made to think that the lack of sex is the issue and that it is your fault, that you're not being a wife, that you're not doing your womanly duties. So if that's you and you're wondering, okay, so is it that what it is? Is it that there is none of that going on and that's the biggest problem in the relationship? And I seem to be the common denominator here. It's my problem. Get in touch. There's a link in the show notes here where you can book a consultation with me, and I can help you figure that out and figure out if I can help you and maybe if one-on-one coaching is right for you. I'll put that in the link in the show notes here. But it is about you reclaiming your power in this and you stepping into more of the feminine role to be able to see things much more clearly. Where you are, you are shut down and why. And what is the root cause? Is it something that you're responsible for also fixing? Or is this something that really needs to be happening on his end? And I can help you with that. But really it comes down to, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on the symptom? Or are you focusing on the root cause and why this is actually happening in your relationship? What is actually causing this dynamic? And why are you allowing yourself to feel like you are to blame for that? And this isn't about being a victim. He did this. He's the problem. It's him. This is all happening because of him and he did this to me and all of that. No, that's not what it's about. But it is about seeing, okay, so where do I not feel safe in this? How do I feel around him most of the time? What are the emotions that are present? Most women are completely cut off from this. And when we are in our feminine, we are aware of our emotions. We're in our body. We are aware of when we clench and pull back and retract and restrict and feel shut down and our wall goes up. When we are not in our bodies and we dissociate, we are not aware of our feelings when we shut down, what is going on inside of us. We go into fight, we go into flight, we go into freeze. One or the other, one of the three. And so this is part of the work, is getting back into connection with our feelings, what we feel, our emotions, our body, our experience. Where am I actually feeling this in my body? What is happening for me right now? What do I actually feel? And it doesn't need anyone else's validation. It doesn't need your partner's validation. It doesn't need your best friend's validation. It doesn't need any validation other than this is just how I feel. Maybe it's skewed by my thinking and my past and things I've been through, sure. But the first place we go when we're working toward our emotional attunement to ourselves, and this is this feminine embodiment work I'm speaking of, it is being attuned to our emotions. We're more emotionally dominant than men. Men are the logic, we are the emotion. And so the first thing is to just be able to name I feel sad, and to just start there, not go into, but I shouldn't feel that way, or I don't know why I feel that way, or I should feel this way, or I feel this way just because of that, or this or that, and we blame ourselves. Yes, there's a lot of things we can do to shift our emotions, but when we're working on shifting into that softer, receptive, feminine energy, being in our bodies, especially in these relationships that are emotionally unsafe, we have to be an emotionally safe space for ourselves. And you can do that no matter if you're in a relationship or not. And it's beginning to just accepting that you have a feeling and becoming aware of it, bringing awareness to it, bringing energy to it, not getting trapped in it, not going into a downward spiral. There's other aspects to this work. This is just starting with naming the feeling and developing mastery over not allowing yourself to go down that downward spiral into the deep, dark pits and allowing yourself to spiral into shame. You have to be able to pull yourself out of it. And this is where a lot of women get scared of their emotions because they don't have the tools or the skills to know how to pull themselves out of those places when they're there. So it's much easier just to dissociate, distract, numb, avoid, focus on the other person, focus on outward stuff, work, focus on fixing him, rather than learning how to be with your own self. How do you expect to ever have a healthy relationship with someone when you are shut down emotionally to yourself? You are rejecting yourself emotionally. You're going to attract someone that's doing the same because you are already doing that to yourself. You are already invalidating your own feelings and experience. So then you are therefore a match for someone who's going to come in and do the same to you and with you. You have to own your own experience in this. And when you're with someone that's worth anything, they, even if they don't understand what it might be or what you're feeling or whatever, they sure as hell shouldn't be minimizing it and making you feel like the problem because you have feelings. So the first step in really embracing your feminine and healing, in a sense, really like healing yourself of years of being given the message that your feelings are too much, that your feelings are wrong, that your feelings are ridiculous, that they're somehow mistaken. You have to own them. That's where it starts. And that is not always easy for women who have gone through their whole lives as high achievers, doers, goal getters, the alpha females that have the goals and were constantly driven to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, next goal, check, 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 check. That's the type of women I work with. And this is great. These are strengths, but we end up with them being weaknesses when they swing too far in the other direction and we're misusing those strengths. And then we cut off from our softer, feminine, intuitive, emotional connection in our bodies. We cut off and we just operate from the neck up like a man. Too much in the masculine. This is why we burn out. This is why we end up with uterine issues and period issues and all kinds of different things because we're fully cut off from the neck down. We don't know what we're feeling. We don't know why our body is doing this. We don't know what the connection is to this ailment or that ailment, metaphysically, emotionally, or otherwise. We don't have any awareness. And I'm saying this from my own experience, but I've been doing this work for a very long time. Because this has been me and I'm still doing the work. Awakening is a lifelong process. There is no awakened state where you're awake and the work is done. No, it's continual. It's still knowing, where do you fight, flight, freeze? Where do you shut down? Where do you dissociate and go numb? And start bringing awareness to that. So if you'd like some help with this, get in touch, book a consultation. If you want to dive into End the Cycle, which is my 4-week immersion, you can do that as well. It comes with, right now at this point, it's a 30-day intensive immersion where you go through the modules. We meet weekly on a one-on-one session and you get text support with me and voice support in between those sessions as you're working the program. If you're wanting clarity on whether to stay, whether to go, what's going on in your relationship, what is actually happening in the dynamics, is it abusive? Is it toxic? Is it something else? This is where most women, almost all women that come in, they're trying to figure out what is going on. And they have tried other things. They have tried years of therapy. They have tried all the things. And the women that come in find that my process is different than anything else they've ever tried. And it shifts things really quickly. And so if you get that VIP package with the one-on-ones, then obviously that's an intensive and you're going to have exponential results in a very short period of time. The link will be in the show notes if you want to check that out. All right, that's it for now, and I'll chat with you in the next one. Bye for now.
It's the Kia Season of New Traditions sales event. So don't just hang your own lights. Venture out and look for the Northern Lights. Drink cocoa on the beach. Or be a drive-by karaoke caroler. Because every Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, so you can take holidays to places they've never been. See your local Kia dealer or visit kia.com to learn more. Kia, movement that inspires.
See Kia dealer for warranty details. Event ends 1/2/25.